The perfect body. The perfect lie. The morning air smelled of rain and protein shakes. In the heart of downtown Austin, the Iron Forge Fitness Studio opened its glass doors right on schedule, as it did every day at 5 a.m. Clients filed in, bleary-eyed but eager. They came for motivation, discipline, and for the man everyone called Coach Ryan. Ryan Talbot was the kind of trainer who looked born for the job, lean, upbeat, and always in control. His charm wasn't just part of the brand, it was the brand. Women admired him, men wanted his advice, and every client left the gym smiling. But that morning, one of them didn't. At 6:42 a.m., a young woman named Danielle Morris walked out of the gym for what would be the last time anyone saw her alive. She waved at Ryan at the front desk, tossed her towel into the bin, and headed into the rain. The security footage caught her reflection in the glass, and Ryan's eyes following her as she left. By 9 a.m., her car was still parked 2 blocks away. The driver's seat was soaked from the rain, but her gym bag and her phone were missing. Detective Lauren Greer arrived on scene just after noon. A veteran investigator with a reputation for reading people better than lie detectors, she scanned the empty parking lot and the pattern of wet footprints leading nowhere. Inside the gym, Ryan greeted her politely, offering her coffee and an apologetic smile. "This is terrible," he said, his voice even. "She was one of my first clients. I can't imagine what happened." Lauren studied him. Clean cut, calm, not nervous, just prepared. That, she'd learned, was more dangerous than panic. She requested the gym's surveillance footage. The manager, an older woman named Jenna, handed over a flash drive and whispered, "He's a great trainer, but there's something about him. He never sweats. He's always watching people." Lauren nodded, keyed and ping, her expression neutral. That night, back at the precinct, she loaded the footage. 3:39 a.m. Danielle exits the locker room. 6:41 a.m. Ryan at the front desk, leaning forward, smiling. 42 a.m. Danielle waves goodbye. 6:43 a.m. Ryan turns off the front desk monitor. 6:44 a.m. The camera feed cuts to static for 3 minutes. When it resumes, Ryan is gone. Lauren leaned back in her chair. "That's not power loss," she muttered. "That's a manual override." She called the studio the next morning. Jenna sounded rattled. "Detective, you might want to come by. We found something strange in the basement." The basement wasn't part of the public gym floor. It was storage. Boxes of supplements, old equipment, towels, and water bottles. But tucked behind a stack of boxes was a locked metal cabinet. Jenna's voice shook. "That wasn't here before." Lauren forced it open. Inside were folders, dozens of them, each labeled with the client's name, progress photos, weight logs, and personal notes in Ryan's handwriting. Danielle's folder was on top. The last page read, "Phase 4. She trusts me completely." Lauren closed the folder slowly. Her pulse thudded in her ears. "We've got enough for a warrant," she said. That evening, she returned to the gym with a team. The place was spotless, eerily so. Not a single fingerprint on the front desk, not a single towel left out. The cameras had been removed from their mounts. And then her phone buzzed. A new email alert, sent from a private address. No subject line, just a single sentence. "Coach Ryan knows who you are." Attached was a photo, taken through her office window. Lauren's hand went cold. She turned to her partner, her voice steady but low. "He's not running," she said. "He's watching." And somewhere across town, under the glow of a city still half asleep, Ryan Talbot was already typing his next client. Note: Phase 5, the detective, the perfect client list. The gym reopened 2 days later, under the guise of routine maintenance. But everyone knew why the blinds were drawn tighter and why the regulars avoided eye contact with reporters waiting outside. The story was spreading fast. A client vanishes. Her trainer is under investigation. Detective Lauren Greer sat in her unmarked car across the street, watching Iron Forge Fitness through the morning rain. Her coffee had gone cold. She'd been awake for 36 hours, replaying the security footage, the email, and Ryan Talbot's calm, unshaken expression in her head. She wasn't watching a man who was nervous. She was watching a man who was ready. The first break came that afternoon. Forensics had gone through Ryan's locker at the gym. Inside, they found a small black notebook, half full, neat handwriting, perfectly aligned bullet points. Every page had names, times, notes. Client 07, Danielle Morris, Phase 4 complete. Client 08, pending progress test. And then, near the end of the book, Phase 5, initiation. There was no name next to it, just a date. Today. Lauren's stomach sank. At 3:00 p.m., she arrived at Ryan's luxury apartment building. The concierge confirmed he hadn't been home in 2 days. His gym bag was missing, but his car, a black Tesla, was still in the garage. When the elevator doors opened, she caught a faint whiff of eucalyptus. Ryan's apartment smelled exactly like his gym. Clean, efficient, calculated. Framed certificates lined the wall. Certified personal trainer, nutrition specialist, behavioral conditioning expert. That last one made her pause. On the table sat a single tablet, still glowing. The screen displayed a private video log titled Phase 5, Final Evaluation. She pressed play. Ryan's face filled the frame. Calm, centered, smiling directly into the camera. Every transformation begins with discipline, he said softly. But true transformation ends with control. The hardest muscle to train is the mind. And Detective Greer, you've been my best subject yet. Lauren froze. The timestamp on the video was from that morning. Her phone buzzed. A new message. Phase 5 begins now. Check the gym. She was out the door before the thought fully formed. By the time she arrived at Iron Forge, it was empty again. The air conditioner hummed over the low static of the security monitors. On the front desk was a fresh note, folded neatly in half. You wanted to know what's in the basement. You never asked why. She opened the basement door slowly. The motion sensor lights flickered to life. Everything looked as before. Boxes, towels, fitness gear stacked neatly. Then she noticed something new. A row of sealed storage bins against the far wall, each labeled with a name and a client number. Inside one was a laptop, inside another a voice recorder. Each device had a sticky note. Progress check. Discipline phase. Termination review. Her pulse raced. He's been recording them, she whispered. Every single one. Upstairs, her partner Ramirez was calling her name. Lauren, you need to see this. On one of the gym's security monitors, the feed had returned. Live. It showed a wide shot of the training floor, and standing right there, framed by the doorway, was Ryan. Except, he wasn't looking at the camera. He was looking at her. He raised a hand, not in a wave, but in a quiet, deliberate gesture, and pointed to something behind her. She turned. On the wall, taped to the mirror, was a photo of her from years ago. Her first day at the academy. Below it, written in thick black marker, were 2 words. Phase 6. The lights flickered. The screen cut to static. Lauren sprinted upstairs, but the door to the street was already swinging shut, rain spilling through it. Ryan's Tesla was goat. No. She stood in the middle of the empty gym, breathing hard. Her reflection in the glass stared back at her. blue police lights flashing faintly in the distance, and on the front desk, her phone buzzed again. A new text. "You study killers. I make them." Attached was a file name, client09.movie. She didn't open it. Not yet. Because she knew exactly what it meant. He wasn't done training. The final session. Rain fell in steady sheets across downtown Austin, washing the neon glow of Iron Forge Fitness into long fractured streaks on the pavement. Detective Lauren Greer sat in her car, engine idling, the windshield wipers keeping time with her heartbeat. On the passenger seat, Ryan's black notebook lay open. The last line stared back at her in careful, methodical handwriting. Phase 6. Closure. She had been awake for nearly 48 hours. The task force wanted her off the case. Too close to it, they said. But Lauren knew this wasn't just a case. It was personal now. Because inside the flash drive Ryan had left in her office, there was a folder labeled Client 09. And when she finally opened it, she saw her own name. The video began with darkness. Then, a single spotlight flicked on, illuminating Ryan's calm face. He was sitting in the gym's training area, a notebook open in front of him. "Congratulations, detective," he said, voice low and deliberate. "You've reached the final phase. You wanted to understand control. Now you will." Behind him, faint outlines of other figures appeared. Old clients, former co-workers, people she'd interviewed over the years, their images projected onto the mirrored walls like ghosts of the investigation itself. "I didn't just train bodies," Ryan continued. "I trained patterns, habits, fear. People tell you everything when they trust you. And trust," he said, pausing to look directly into the lens, "is the most efficient weapon ever invented." Lauren's hands trembled slightly as she hit pause. Every client file he'd ever kept, the progress photos, the notes, the hidden recordings, had been pieces of a behavioral experiment. He hadn't been training athletes. He'd been studying obedience. At 2:11 a.m., a motion alert pinged from the gym's internal system. Ryan was back. Lauren didn't wait for backup. Shy, he drove through the rain, siren off, headlights cutting through mist that shimmered in shades of blue. The streets were empty. The glass doors of Iron Forge glowed faintly under the storm. Inside, the place looked untouched, pristine, every weight in place, every towel folded, every surface spotless. And then, through the silence, a faint click. A video monitor flickered to life. Ryan's face appeared again, live this time. He was somewhere dimly lit, the hum of machinery audible behind him. "You were supposed to wait," he said softly. "But I knew you'd come early. You always rush the final rep." Lauren scanned the gym. No sign of him. Then she noticed the screen's reflection in the wall mirror behind her. The background in the feed matched the room exactly. He was there. From the far end of the room, a door creaked. Ryan stepped out, dressed in black, calm as ever. He wasn't armed. He didn't need to be. "Phase 6, he said quietly, approaching. "Acceptance." Lauren's hand hovered near her holster. "It's over, Ryan. Whatever game this is, it ends now." He smiled faintly. "You still think it's a game. You've been part of the training since the moment you walked into that gym." He gestured toward the desk where a small tablet was recording. On its screen was a live feed of her. Behind the counter, faintly visible, was a timestamp labeled Session 10. "You're my last client," he said, "and I need you to finish your set." Lauren stepped closer, her voice steady. "You manipulated people. You built trust to break it. That's not control. That's desperation." For the first time, his expression cracked. "Desperation," he repeated softly. "That's what makes people change." Backup arrived minutes later. The footage cut off just as the first officers entered. When they searched the gym, Ryan was gone. No forced exit, No footprints, no sign of a struggle. Only his T. Ablet remained, still recording, its camera facing the door where Lauren had entered. And on the screen, a single new note appeared, typed automatically. Phase 7. Observation. Weeks later, the case officially closed. Ryan Talbot, missing, presumed dead. His gym seized as evidence, his files archived. But one night, long after the city had moved on, Detective Greer opened her laptop to review an unrelated case. A notification appeared in the corner of her screen. New client request received. Ironforge Digital Training. She hesitated, staring at the sender's name. Coach Ryan, active now. The cursor blinked. Then, a message appeared, line by line. You trained well, detective. Ready for your next session. The screen went black. If you thought this story was chilling, you haven't seen anything yet. Hit subscribe, because the next case, it's already in progress.